And we're here. That's a new feature.
Yeah.
Skybot Kronos has gone online at November 22nd, 2017, 2:02 and 13 milliseconds, or 13 seconds, AM UTC. We're good to go. So tonight, as we discussed last week, we are going to be playing the Turing Test. The Turing Test is a game that was sort of on my radar when it was announced as, hey, that looks interesting. I might want to play it, even though it's not usually my style. And then it came out, and it was widely reviewed as pretty good and expensive, or at least expensive for my tastes. It went on sale a couple of times, and it was like, hey, $20. That's pretty reasonable for this game. Nah, I'm not going to spend $20 on this game. And I was rewarded because it was given to me as a Games with Gold. I think last month is when it went Games with Gold. And tonight I'm going to play it. We're going to see what it's like. This game has been compared to Portal, and I think we're going to see a lot of that as we go forward. But outside of that, and the fact, of course, that it's called the Turing Test, so we might have references to Alan Turing or artificial intelligences or computer design in general. I don't really know what we're going to get. With me, as usual, I have Des. Des, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. In a game called the Turing Test, aren't we going to be trying to figure out if something is an AI or not?
Are we an AI?
Are we an AI?
That is, of course, what the Turing Test is a reference to. It's the thought experiment proposed by Turing that a sufficiently advanced computer would be indistinguishable from a human if it could be, without being seen, answer all the questions that a human would answer in the same way that a human would answer. So you get a chatbot, basically. If the chatbot can pass the Turing test, then you can't tell whether or not it's an AI by just talking to it. Most of the time you can tell pretty quickly, even with really good, sophisticated AIs these days. But with a truly advanced AI, we may never be able to tell. And if you can't tell, then isn't it actually just a person, an artificial person?
So funny. I just read an article about Chinese chatbots and how the advanced artificial intelligence of them is causing problems where they're supposed to pick up stuff from the people they talk to so they sound more human. And mostly what they end up doing is bagging on the Communist Party.
That's hilarious. Well, these
So
self-learning...
they have to take them offline and retrain them.
They reprogram them. Wow.
Yeah, to not talk shit about the Communist Party.
Well, if we talk about this for a second, we've had history with this in Western cultures as well, where even Microsoft created this fantastically powerful, deep learning AI chatbot, which learned from the users that it was talking to try and make it more natural and therefore better able to pass a Turing test.
And within 24 hours, it had become like an alt-right supporter or something.
Basically, yes. It was onto all kinds of conspiracy theories. It was a vicious swearer. It would insult your mother at the turn of a hat. It was just awful. It was the cesspool of the internet that it was talking to, of course. Hey, we have gameplay.
We breathe, too.
Well, that probably means we're human. But, a fake me need to breathe just to convince people.
Your wake-up has been sanctioned by the ISA. We lost contact with the ground crew.
We don't have subtitles.
I will fix that as soon as I get a chance.
We tried to establish further communications, but we are not getting any responses.
Every time.
Every time.
We need you to investigate.
Hi, Wally.
Okay, doesn't it make sense to do visual checks first?
We have already looked at the data.
No, you're not Wally, you're Tom.
Made the executive decision that you report to the surface, post-haste. You are our emergency response.
What exactly is the emergency?
The ground crew found an organism the ISA believed to be dangerous. We need to re-establish communication.
Do I get to move now? Is that... Yeah, now I get to move.
I think you
so
can.
that's looking around. So, being woken up by Tom here reminds me of a great joke. The factory of the future will consist of the factory, a man, and a dog. And the man's job is to feed the dog. And the dog's job is to make sure the man doesn't touch anything. briefly saw my hand. So I'm not great at first-person games in general. This whole moving around in first person is not a thing I'm comfortable with, even though I've gotten better at. What? Fabio?
Oh, it's on my computer. Must be my internet. Great. Could be Mixer. It's working on my tablet.
Oh.
That just means I can't hear you right now.
Oh, you can't hear me. Okay. We're
Yeah.
trying to do some things so you can do chat commands in Mixer. And... Is this me? Am I Sarah? I mean, I know I'm a
I think
girl.
you are Sarah.
Because I'm not Mikhail. I'm definitely a
Oh
girl.
no, you're not.
2443.
Maybe these are your other buds.
Yeah, we're all waking up on the same day. 2443,
Christmas
December
Eve,
24th.
actually.
Christmas Eve. Huh? Chris? Well, that's not a good sign. User error. So, obviously, that will come in later. I'm gonna just pretend I know how to pronounce that. Soichi? Soichi, that's actually not so bad.
Soichi, yeah.
User not found. No, not user. ID 404 not found. Thank you, Des.
I figured it out.
You figured it out.
Yep.
I made Scottybot a mod too, because that gives
Pick
it
up
more
your
functionality,
EMT.
but I don't know if that's actually
It's
going
on
to do
the
anything.
side.
EMT is to the side. Okay, here we go.
Okay. We are going to take a lander to Europa.
It's your portal gun.
Make your way to the docking station.
Do you have feet? I haven't been paying attention.
I cannot
Nope.
tell. I do not appear to have feet. Let's take a few steps looking down.
So you're
Nope, I have
disinvolving
hands. I have hands, no feet. Office. ISA. Ava Turing. Alright, so they're gonna make it less about, or maybe she's some distant great-great-great-granddaughter or something, who knows. Can't seem to do anything in here. This is one of those things, you know, you have all this landscape. It'd be nice to be able to have some sort of interaction, even if it isn't really important. Something to tell me about what's going on. The signs are helpful, but interactivity is what makes a game, right? I think I came from here. I went backwards. Yeah, I went backwards. So, you know,
I
even
guess it depends on how you define game.
yeah, let's not go down that path. It's a little early.
Okay, fine. So, do you want to talk about the recent sex scandals?
Are we going to do that tonight? Because that's an all-night.
I don't think. I don't think so. I mean, we could if we wanted to talk about Marvel Heroes Omega, since it's got
It sort of ties into
microtransactions and a sex scandal.
Right, here's the thing. I didn't really research that one very much at all. All I know is that was being reported that the CEO of Gazillion, the developer of Marvel Heroes Omega, had an allegation of sexual misconduct made against him, and that may be one of the reasons why Disney decided to pull the plug on them. You know, maybe they were skating along, making just
What's
enough
the ship's
money, and the
status?
contract was going to
performed the
end
necessary
in a
checks.
year or two, and
The
they're like,
Europa
fine, we
lander
just
is
won't
ready to
renew it when the
launch.
time's up, but then the sex scandal comes along, and boom, they're done, we're out. Because, you know, Disney can't have that. Being Disney.
I mean, that's awkward because they do own Miramax, right?
You know, I hadn't put that one together.
So they have some kind of relationship.
Okay, so I must have feet because I can jump. I mean, kind of. Even though I can't see them, they must exist. I can take it on faith.
I mean, that's not something you should have to take on faith. Of course, it could just be lazy design.
It is. This game, you know, even though it looks really nice here, you can see that this is basically a more modern version of quickly pieced together, even though it's done well. And I'm not going to criticize them for a lot of this because I don't think that's fair. I'm more interested in the game for gameplay and for story in most cases, but even though this looks great, it is not a graphical marvel. I'm going to get, like, beamed down here.
No, I don't actually care about all games being a graphical marvel. It really depends on what niche they fall into.
Were the lights supposed to go out there?
I honestly haven't been paying attention to what we're supposed to be doing. I have
No,
no
that's
clue.
okay. That's not what you're here for.
That's true. I'm here to look up on 4chan why Marvel Heroes Omega is shutting down.
Right, so let's find out more about those allegations so that we can
That's a
talk
good
about them
source.
intelligently. Well, I tell you what, if anybody's going to have concrete information, even if it is from the wrong perspective, it will be people on 4chan. It's like the National Enquirer. You know that their news sources are good, they just spin it badly.
Retro?
Go.
Fido?
Go.
Guidance?
Go.
Control?
Go.
Telcom?
Go.
Then we are go for launch initiating.
Zephyr.
So the robot that woke me up is also the one cross-checking all my stuff. If he's
Engaging
gone
retrofire.
rogue, I'm not feeling comfortable
I'm running the
with him
program.
checking me.
80 degree delta pitch to 88 degrees
I want to
absolute.
have like
Braking
multiple
procedure.
check sources.
Trajectory
I
looks
think
good.
that basically
502
if
alarm.
he woke you
It
up
looks like
so
we're
you can
coming
do
in too
something
fast.
that he can't do,
We are slightly
Right.
short of the landing site.
so anything
We
he
are
wants
going
you
to
to
have
do
to
is
burn
suspect.
late. Go.
Full retrograde.
Now, people would just say that that's just us being cynical, right? Oh, hey, this reminds me
I am
of
pretty cynical now.
the centrifuge ride, Mission to Mars. I don't think that's right. Maybe it's Mission to Mars. But you, I'm gonna have to come back to that one later because this feels just like that, even though no one has a clue what I was just talking about.
Open the door.
Okay.
Welcome
well,
to
my
Europa.
internet works better now.
Yay!
I've switched networks. We're still getting the Ethernet figured out,
Moving is hard.
so yeah.
That was, by the
We
way,
basically-
the fastest descent to a moon that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Our
the
station's up there
physics
somewhere.
We're just gonna ignore the physics.
The ice is so hard, we're not leaving footprints.
Well, we also don't have feet.
Or, there's also no traction, so somehow we're not slipping around.
Yeah, so we found
How
there's
long will my
coax
suit
cables in
survive these
every single
conditions?
room.
At 100 degrees Kelvin, a couple of hours. We should get inside.
That is pretty cold.
And also Ethernet ports. So we're like, is there some kind of whole house Ethernet system? And if so, does it work?
Mm-hmm.
So we found the panel in the master bedroom. The plate had been taken off of it, and the wires were all just hanging out of it in a snarl.
That's
And
a
I
good
was
sign.
like, well, this is not promising. But so when the cable guy came, I said, I don't know if this improves your life at all, but this exists. And I showed it to him.
You broke up
That
there.
helps a lot. He said, I showed it to him, and he said, this.
Are you
and
like
it'll be
self-censoring yourself?
faster Than, no, I just, like, literally, this story does not want to be told. Because I can hear it, since I have to listen to the loop over of my voice. And I'm just like, why are you trying to stop this story from getting out on the internet?
It's a good story.
So he came and he looked at this snarl of cables, and he said, I think I can fix it, and it's probably going to be faster for me to fix it than it is for me to run new cable to the rooms you want boxes.
That makes sense. Oh, hello.
So he fixed it, and now it mostly works. My audio does sound terrible because I can hear myself.
So
What's
every
going
time
on?
I walk through this one for the first time, Oh, you're talking to Mr. Des. You're not talking to me.
Mr. Des is telling me my audio sounds like crap.
What do you mean?
You
The
sound
base
okay
was
to me.
originally constructed as
I'm gonna
modular
recycle the
to
power on
withstand
my
the seismic
headset again.
activity in and
All
around
right, so we'll
Sierra
talk to you
Magna.
again in a moment.
It
Yep.
appears the ground team have manipulated these modules.
So every time I walk through one of these blue lights for the first time, it comes down. It's like it's removing all the outside elements from me so that I can be super clean. It's like a scrub you down airlock.
The base
Alright,
was
am I
built
back?
initially
You're
by
back.
machines.
Welcome back, Des.
I served
Sounds
as the
totally
mind
normal
of
now.
operations. I arrived first on Europa.
You sounded
in
normal to me last
2240.
time, so that's just being on me.
It costs a lot to send humans into space with the necessary life support, especially such a vast distance from Earth. So, robotics built this place.
Okay, so the whole place was built by robots.
Because, obviously, sending humans to space is really expensive. Got it.
Okay.
So I pick up with the right trigger and I pump out with the left trigger these blue orbs that power the door. And I get sanitized again and again and again. That's 9
I wonder
sanitizations.
why the ground team has changed these rooms.
I have a hypothesis.
Hi, Ripley.
These rooms are Turing tests.
Turing tests?
Turing tests are tests designed to tell humans and machines apart. Typically, problems only solvable by a human. A combination of logical and lateral thinking.
So you can't complete these tests, Tom?
No,
Yeah, well,
That is
we're
why
glad to have you
I'm
back,
glad you
Ripley.
are
So
here to
good to
help.
see you again.
we need to work together.
So I couldn't throw it up here. I was doing that, trying to do that while he was talking. So the thing is still down there, and I don't think I can climb up it with it in my hands, but maybe I can. Try that. Yeah, so in order to, I have to press X to interact with the ladder, and if the thing is in my hands after having pressed X, it won't interact. So I can't carry it up, and I can't throw it up. So up we go. Anyway, thank you for joining us again, Ripley. It's good to have you back. You were with us for the very first stream we did quite a while ago now, but it was always good to get going again.
What was our first stream?
Astropop.
Oh, right.
Oh, so I can throw it through the door, the window thing. That'll be fine, and then I can take it up the stairs. It'll be fine. There we go. Yay! I'm not a computer, according to this thing. Which, you know,
I feel like a robot could have figured that out.
yeah, a robot can probably figure this one out pretty quickly, especially with some deep learning. You know who else could figure this out? A raven. A raven would have
Yeah.
no problem with this one.
Crows are extremely smart.
They really
Crows,
have
ravens, all the
completely
corvids.
repurposed
I
these
love
rooms.
corvids.
I am quite impressed.
So what were they used for before?
Most of them were used for storage. But they have converted them beyond recognition.
I hope you're
Perhaps they
enjoying
ran
your
out of
dinner.
things
I
to
had
do
a
out there.
sandwich.
The devil makes work for idle hands.
So that opens up this door, but closes the door upstairs. So I'm going to check in here and see what we got going on. That's a corridor that I don't want to go through just yet. This is the exploration side of me. So yeah, I can't go through here at all yet, so I did need to do that. Cool. So, Des, you were looking up on 4chan or other reputable sources what the
I was
allegations
trying to
against the
find
CEO
a
actually
reputable
was.
source,
Yeah, everything I've
Um,
seen is just
but it's all
allegations.
like
right?
4chan and crap like that. So
So it's, we'll just leave it at that. There were allegations,
Yeah.
and that is a thing that would definitely spark Disney to make that decision, perhaps. No way to know for sure if that was the cause. So when I pull this one out, this door will close, and then I gotta put it in here somehow.
Oh, how about Kotaku? That's relatively.
Yeah, Kotaku's good if they have
Oh.
if they have some information about it, but it's probably
Their
just
sources
their
are
allegations.
Reddit, so
Internet.
No.
All right, I'm definitely smarter than this. I can figure this one out. I can't get through the hole. If I take that away, I can't get through. Can I absorb it from back here? I can. Nice. And sanitize.
Do you know the ground team's location?
The crew are deeper inside the base, it seems.
They must be trying to survive. Can you find their precise location?
I'm afraid not. I am working to regain control. Though I once had complete
Regain
control of
control
this
of what?
base, a lot has changed in the past 500 hours.
500 hours. That's like 20 days. It's about a month.
So Kotaku, they think that the reason was a lot of PC players stopped playing once they started focusing on consoles.
There were some definitely complaints about the dumbing down of it for consoles. I did play it on PC, but it was during beta, so I don't know if that counts. You know, that's pretty old. No, I can't do that. Need that power source. Oh, I know what I need to do. Okay.
Anyway, so we had played that game, or more like you played it and I ran around in circles smashing things. Ooh, Black Friday sale. Okay, don't get distracted.
Was that the other email I sent you?
No, I just got one from GOG.
Oh, Ripley asks what we're talking about because she was a little late to the party here. We were talking about Marvel Heroes Omega, which last week was announced that Disney was severing ties with Gazillion, the developer of the game, and as such, the game is being shut down on December 31st. It's a free-to-play game that Des and I streamed a couple of times. It's a fun game. I've enjoyed playing it, so I'm really sad to see it go because I like that kind of game in general. But it is going down, and one of the reasons that was being speculated about it, in addition to possibly it's not making enough money, or the PC players are upset, or that the licensing is there, and the contract is up in a year, that maybe this is wrong.
Maybe the CEO is a rapist or something.
Right, there's a sexual abuse allegation against him, but this is only being alluded to.
Right,
can I
like
pull this out?
Kotaku linked to the allegation, which was on Reddit by someone who was supposedly on the development team for Marvel Heroes Omega, who said, "Don't judge the company by the CEO," basically, and talked about some of the allegations.
Now, some of the things
So
I
whether
saw,
that person actually worked there or whatever.
some of the things I saw when I was reading around
So
about
if
this
this
was
base is
that the
managed
company
by
had
you,
this
why can't you find
deal
the crew?
where if you sent
The
in a
basic
selfie
communication
of yourself in a
array is
cosplay of
malfunctioning.
one of the characters from the just Disney Marvel's IP cosplay, they might give you some in-game currency. So this may be
Perhaps
something where
we
he was
can't
trying
solve this
to collect photos of attractive women in the costumes, but. So yeah, that scandal season lately that you're talking about, Ripley, that is exactly what we're talking about. Des and I are in the unfortunate position of knowing far too much about sexual abuse scandals, the handling of sexual abuse scandals, how they're usually not handled well, and sort of how this whole thing comes out, especially in certain cultures, but how it perpetuates itself because no one takes the proper responsibility and no one does preventative measures in the future. So it's one of those things where we know a lot more than we're really comfortable talking about on a stream, but every time it comes up, it's like, how much are we going to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed how much to address it, especially because there's just so much of it right now. I actually did want to talk about it just very, very briefly tonight. Specifically, I want to talk about Charles Manson finally died. And that immediately made me think of...
oh, yeah.
what's his name?
The director.
Polanski. One of my favorite. No, he's definitely someone who should not be allowed to run around people.
He's a pretty horrible person.
Yeah.
So the story about Roman Polanski, it's one of those things where it keeps getting... So I can't carry this box through here. That was one of my big plans. All right, so that was this thing where I did that. Now I got to do this. But I need another one from the other room, I guess. So Polanski is a director, and his major allegation against him was that he sexually abused a girl that he was doing, a 13-year-old girl that he was working with. Oh, hey, can I take this thing through? Cool. I can probably take both of these through. Is there something I can use to open this up? I cannot. Okay. That he was, responsible for. I can't take him through. Okay. Stupid. As a director on the set, so he was in a position of responsibility over a youth and then abused that youth. And she brought that allegation forward many, many years ago, and he fled the country and has been under extradition charges ever since and has never come back to face justice. That's problem number one. It's a huge problem. Problem number two is that then he still gets tremendous accolades from the Hollywood people because they don't care about this particular incident because he made really good movies. And that ties into some other things, like we have all these musicians being accused now. And some musicians that I really enjoy had accusations against them, and they're credible accusations. I'm looking at this saying, yeah, he probably did it. And now we have to deal with, well, does that mean that we can't have them go to a concert? We can't be at their concerts and enjoy the music? Does it take away from their artwork any? When Kevin Spacey had his allegation come out, ooh, green. What's green do? Green kind of works. Half bases. Okay.
This doesn't add up.
Netflix immediately cancels
What does not
House of
add up?
Cards and says,
there was
we're
an
not doing it
accident.
anymore.
Surely they'd come to
So
find
there's a
me, not
lot of stuff
try to
going on
lock
there
me out.
in the culture right
My
now that we're still trying to
instance is
figure out
still
because this is a
resolving
crime
conflict.
that we've spent
I
so
expect
long
they have their
not
reasons.
talking about that we really don't have any good ideas for how to handle it.
Well, and there's that whole aspect of, and this is something just as a very brief context, I guess. He and I have both been employed professionally in the child abuse prevention industry, let's say. People always wring their hands and say, how can this happen? How does someone like Harvey Weinstein just go on and on and on and on? And it's like, well, maybe because you gave Academy Awards to somebody who was literally a fugitive. Why would they
My
think
instance
people
has
had a
just been
problem?
updated.
Sorry?
I have two instances of my mind.
They can
Two
get away with
separate
it because
versions.
we don't take a
A
stand
slave
against this.
mind running on the satellite, and a master
And we
running
haven't,
here on the
and we
surface.
continue to not do so. And this is
When the
one of the reckonings that
communication was cut
America's
between the
coming with,
surface
where
face
we
of the
have a
satellite,
commander-in-chief,
the two
president,
instances of my
who
mind were
is,
separated. So,
from all
during
accounts,
all this time,
of his own accounts,
all my knowledge
an
divided
assaulter
into
of
two
women.
separate branches.
And
Yes.
he
I continue
is
to learn on the
in this
satellite,
position
and I continue
because
to learn
a
on the
previous
surface.
commander-in-chief, who is
I'm
also
trying
an
to
assaulter
merge
of
them
women,
to create a timeline
was
of
able
what's
to
happening.
get away with it and be
there are
apologized for
incongruities
because he was
between
doing
these
the things
members.
that people thought were more important. And now the other side is getting to say, well, he's doing stuff that we think is more important, so tough. It's just a matter of consistency. That's not beneficial.
Yeah, so, it affects the entertainment industry now. Of course, politics is having its reckoning as well.
It's all over the place, which, of course, is not in the least bit surprising. Because this happens in all walks of life. Wherever there are people, whenever people are in positions of power, they will use that power, and they will abuse that power to get what they want. And
Yeah.
in many cases, what they want is to sexually abuse someone because it makes them feel more important. It makes them feel good. It gives them sexual gratification. So I got to get each of those out of each of those rooms. That's tricky. This
So
one
we
goes
kind of
here.
asked ourselves,
How much
what
do we want to go down this
run
path?
into your fave is problematic,
Right.
right? Like, you know.
Because they are.
okay,
If they are not right now,
you know.
they may well be in the future. And you know, we've had to deal with this on a personal level, but everyone has to deal with this
Yeah.
on at least some level, because I don't know very many people who don't like Kevin Spacey's work as an actor. At least one movie he's done, for example.
Yeah, like you probably, most people probably enjoy The Usual Suspects or House of Cards or something.
And you can look at that and say, yeah, he's a pretty good actor. It kind of sucks. But, hey, he did something. He almost certainly did this.
Yeah.
And when we look at this, these are allegations. Allegations of sexual abuse
Right.
are 90+% of the time true.
Yes.
Ripley says that she's glad that the publicity and discussions are happening. That's actually a really important point. One of the things that we do know about this is that the more we talk about it, the more likely it is that we get to the point where it stops being a thing. Because if we don't talk about it, it will keep happening. Absolutely.
Like, taking specifically child abuse, it's just that, it's down so much from where it used to be, and so much of that is education. And just talking to kids about what is and is not acceptable, and talking
How they
to
can make
people who
themselves
work
feel
with
better
kids.
and protect themselves in those situations
Yeah.
where adults aren't around. Telling the adults what's not okay and making sure that it's well
Yeah.
enforced.
So people think that the world is kind of scarier now than it was,
This is the
say,
command
20,
center.
30, 40 years ago.
You can check on the crew status
But
from
children
here.
specifically are much safer. And it just seems like more because people are actually having those conversations on a regular basis.
We're finally starting to talk about it. I don't know if this is useful. It'll probably be useful later. So let's. Soichi, Ava was the last one. Ava's user unknown.
I think that's us. Ava Turing. That's
No, we were
us.
Sarah. We're Sarah Brooke.
Oh,
That was what we said.
No, Sarah was the first one we saw.
No, she was the
That
first
was
one
the
we
first
saw on the
pod
list.
we saw.
I don't remember Daniel either, but I remember Chris, I remember Mikhail, I remember Soichi, but the last one, the one we didn't see a name for, the one that was user error, is Ava Turing. So they're saying Ava Turing is user unknown.
Yeah, I think that might be us. And we might be a computer.
So that's the thing. We might be a computer, and we might be being controlled by a computer to do this thing that he can't as a different AI, but we're a more sophisticated AI. Losing her parents at a young age, Ava Turing was sent to military engineering school. Shortly after graduating, she enlisted in the U.S. Navy and trained as a pilot. Due to her exemplary service record and willingness to leave Earth for extended periods of time, as in your entire life, Turing was recruited to the ISA. On the exploratory mission to Jupiter's Europa, Turing's role above the Fortuna is engineer and vehicle officer. Yeah, I thought we were engineers, so let's see what Sarah does. Sarah is 28 and has touched the surface of 2 planetoids and spent more time on alien soil than any other member of mankind except the Mars team. Actually can't read the rest of that.
That's probably not us then.
We're exobiologists? Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think we're Ava.
Yeah,
I think we're supposed to be
we're
Ava.
Ava.
Oh boy. Europa loading bay. Touch here. So one of the other things that we were talking about is how this affects gaming. And of course, gaming is one of those environments where the sexuality is particularly toxic. Male gamers are notoriously bad to female gamers. You show up in a first-person shooter, you put on your headset, and you sound female, and you're going to get called out. And if you happen to kill a guy, then all kinds of abuse follows. And the Xbox in particular is probably pretty bad for this. But it's not like it's not just on Xbox or on first-person shooters. It's everywhere. We were reading and talking about the World of Warcraft rape inn.
Yes.
This is a environment in a role-playing setting where people go to the inn and they would have sexual encounters in their characters in the inn. But those sexual encounters, which started off as role-playing, cooperative, and exploratory, turned into, hey, I'm going to do things using the game mechanics so that it simulates a rape against you, and it has many of the same traumatic effects on the brain as actual assault would.
Well, and people were saying that you can come to this inn accidentally and be like, oh, whoops, I don't...
Right, because it's right in the beginning of the game. So if you're showing up on this role-playing server, you almost have to go there if you're on the Alliance side.
Right, so it's not like, well, if you're on that particular server, then blah, blah, you get what you get. It was more like you could just know nothing about this inn, wander in there, and they would cast spells on you that basically simulate rape, yeah.
And, it is one of those things where it's a known factor, but, World of Warcraft has kids playing it. And those kids don't necessarily know that the server they're picking, essentially at random, is the server that has that. They're just looking for a roleplay server. When I was in my teens, I loved role-playing in these games online. And I had contact with plenty of these creepers, by the way. But it was a slightly different thing. That the environment wasn't set up to allow a lot of the same things, and there were actually better protections in terms of other people being responsible adults, including sometimes the developers. Blizzard is getting a lot of flack for this, and I love Blizzard as a developer, but a lot of flack for this for letting it happen and getting it out of hand. But it does start to raise questions about, well, is this ever an acceptable kind of behavior? And if it is, if they can't do it here, can they do it somewhere on the internet in some game? Second Life, or something a little bit more esoteric?
But one of the people that they interviewed for the article about the Raven is an escort on Second Life, and said that
it was so much worse.
Way worse. Yeah.
Way worse. Which is interesting. This gets all blurry.
Well, and that got us talking about what measures can or should companies take to make sure their game environments are positive and not in a everybody gets a trophy kind of way, but in a nobody is abused.
Right, we don't want anyone to be traumatized. You should not go and play a game trying to have fun and come away with a psychological scar, even if that's someone else's form of enjoyment. Then if they get off on that, I think they have a problem. But if they do, and everyone else is okay with it, then they need to find a partner who's okay with it. They can't just foist themselves upon someone who doesn't want to have any part of that.
Tom,
and may not even understand it.
I am always recording, Daniel.
The day is January
he's
the
always
6th.
Recording.
My watch says
of course
it's
he is.
10:30 on Earth. Here we are, members of the human race.
Google?
Standing on Jupiter's moon Europa. I am Captain Daniel McLean. I'm joined here by the rest of my team. It is our intention to make this moon our home and investigate life on this planet. Man's curiosity and appetite
So my subtitles
for
have
discovery
turned off for this
will continue
segment?
to change our world.
That's frustrating.
For the better.
Inspiring. And might I add my congratulations to you all.
So one of the things I want to bring up here is that the voice acting for Tom here is both phenomenal and atrocious. Because one of the things that we know is that, sure, we can get computers to say words, and most of the times even say them correctly. We can teach them, especially with deep learning, how to pronounce words, but we can't give them inflection. Tom speaking with inflection and emotion indicates an artificial intelligence that is way outside the league of anything that is really remotely possible.
Here it is.
Well, he's also kind of a sarcastic little shit.
What makes this one more remarkable than the others? The way it touches
Which is
itself
not very
on the
professional. Like, he's sassing this astronaut right now.
It seems to form a symbiotic relationship with most life forms. How do you mean? Do you want me to dumb it down? I know what it means. What does it do? It attaches itself to almost anything living, but it's not parasitic. It's quite alien. We're trying to figure out what effects it has on life forms.
Mikhail, you seem distant.
Do I?
Yes.
Sorry, Dave. I just can't do it.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
What's wrong, Mikhail?
Sorry, Dave.
Mikhail,
He can't open
what's
the door.
wrong?
Mikhail, let me
Are
open
you
the door
listening,
for you.
Mikhail?
Let me open the door
Are
for
you
you,
able to
Mikhail.
hear?
Oh man, if that's not a reference there, that doesn't. Yeah, I don't know what is.
He can't
I've talked to
open
the
the door.
They
Can't do that right
don't know
now.
what to do with this.
Can't use that with this.
The magnitude of the discovery.
We should send samples
Ripley
back to
opened the
Earth.
pod door for us.
Get this to a better
Thank you,
lab.
Ripley.
Means Sochi having trouble making enough clones.
Now, if we get a giant
Run
baby
out
at the end of
the
this, I'm
necessary
gonna be
resources to
disappointed.
continue studying the organism 119.
They're calling for a grounding of all Europa transport until they get your report.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's rather drastic.
Well, it does actually happen. We see this, and over here... oh, wait, some of these changed.
Ooh.
A minute ago, these were all canceled. Yeah, like that. And only one screen at all had any arrived. Maybe I'm on a different screen. I'm on this screen. There we go. Manifest 01B was when it came. 01A, canceled, except for one little piece. 2 and 3 were canceled. I can't tell what these are. I actually don't know if I'm supposed to be doing anything with anything in here. There's a hall that's open, but this is the exploratory side coming in. I know that there are optional achievements, but they're not missable, so if I miss something in here, I can just come back to this room later on, no problem.
That's a good point, Wipod. The real question is, why did we build a colony on Europa?
Europa's a
Because
really
Mars
poor
is
choice.
Totally overpopulated. What's happening?
Well, they refer to Mars as the Mars team. So this looks like it's still a scientific thing more than anything else. We're coming out here to get experience. If we have the technology to get Jupiter, we'll be able to make great voice synthesis. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily follow, but I take your point. Sufficiently advanced technology to do sufficiently advanced things, and it's certainly possible. But voice synthesis with emotion and intonation is, very, very, very difficult. Hello, Mexis Gaming. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
What condition should I expect to find the ground crew in?
Daniel went missing days ago. Chris is presumed dead.
I
They
think
are
I
expected
just
to
finished
find
chapter
Sarah,
1,
Mikhail, and
so this
Sochi
would be
in
the
a stable
start of chapter
condition.
2.
Chris is dead?
I
He
just
was
started it
involved
tonight,
in an accident.
and I'm going pretty slow. Because I'm talking about stuff while I do it, right?
Yeah, mostly we just threw a box through a window and read some stuff.
A lot of reading. Which is good. I like that kind of gaming. Reading is my style. I'm pretty sure I've told this story on stream, though. But I'll tell it again anyway, because I have a fair number of viewers who haven't heard it, probably. One of my favorite stories from all of gaming is that I am a story-first gamer, right? If it's got a good story and some interesting gameplay, great. I'm going to be satisfied. But if it doesn't have story, it doesn't matter. So I don't like a lot of games that other people like because it just doesn't interest me unless it's got the story aspect. And I really, really believe this until I played the Game of Thrones video game that was written by George R.R. Martin. Don't get me wrong, it's actually pretty fun. It's a very solid and serviceable RPG. But by the time I was done with that, I was of the opinion that it would have been better off as another novel in the series, or a short story maybe, because the gameplay mechanics were just so minimal that it was pointless. If you're not going to have gameplay, why do you have a game? If you want to make a good story and it's just a story, then just have it in some other format. So you need story and gameplay to make these things work.
You said we're gonna game, and here you are talking about what makes a game a game.
Yeah, that didn't take long, did it?
No.
So it's okay when I do it. It's not okay when you do it. That's what I'm saying. No, of course.
Typical.
Where were we when we started that off? What were we talking about? I can't remember anymore.
You were complaining that they had spent so much time on the environments, but there was nothing to do.
There was all those little rooms that were explorable, but you couldn't interact with anything, so you needed interaction.
Been her best story ever told.
Well, that's true. It probably is one of the best stories ever told.
Not,
it's just the
not
game.
That game.
The game.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't have anything to do with the story.
story-oriented, not trophy-oriented.
I think Ripley's referring to
Well-
achievements there.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, he puts up with a lot for some gamer score.
Where does this thing go? Where does that thing go? I don't see where this thing goes.
I mean,
okay,
if-
so this
if-
goes to the
if
store.
you were here last week, you know that.
Yeah.
When we played
Yeah.
Ben-Hur. Okay, before we get super distracted, Saturday morning RPG
Will be Saturday.
will be Saturday. We're starting a new series. In addition to this one, where we're gonna play Saturday morning RPG and talk about the 80s, basically.
Because we're children of the 80s, so it's awesome.
Because we lived through the 80s.
So yeah, Mexis Gaming is reminding me that I need to take this thing out and then get through the door, but unfortunately, I have a hard time getting through the door, so I need to pull it out from like here. Just pull that out and I can get it, if I can get it. Yeah, so that works. But then I need to find a place to stick this in, so I can get the other one out, because I need both of them. And right now I haven't figured that out. So yeah, we're talking about things while we... Oh hey, there it is. Hey! We got it. Yeah, no, even if someone wants to judge me for achievement hunting, let them. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So, we are going to continue
I mean,
on here.
Could we take a
That's
more
part of
direct
your
way to the
niche.
ground team?
Unfortunately, there is not a direct route. The base
Of course
is
there's not a
buried
direct
under
route.
ice
Why
to
would there
protect
ever be
it
a
from the
direct route?
radiation of space.
Similar to the Mars base.
Of course there's radiation.
Europa's base is slightly deeper.
Yeah,
in
there
the
is
surface.
radiation on Europa, but it's
It's
not any
stable.
more than you got on
Radiation
Earth.
present from solar events on Mars. But Mars's surface is denser than that of Europa.
Well, yeah. Thank you for
Okay.
the basic science lesson, guy. Okay. Oh, hey, there it is. I see what I need to do. I got this one. I got
It's
this
like
one.
that moment where you start thinking about the physics of Star Wars, and you're like, I better stop. before I
Star
ruin my
Wars or
childhood."
Star Trek?
Star Wars. Star Wars has really, really bad physics.
Star Wars has terrible physics. Star Trek has
Yeah.
acceptable but still bad physics.
Right.
No, we do not, as a
We do
general
not trust
rule,
Tom.
we are super cynical.
No. No, we think that Tom
probably
only
evil.
woke us up to do something nefarious that he can't do himself. So that anything he tells us to do, we probably should not be doing.
But at the same time, that's the only way forward, so our agency is
Right.
self-limited. He's British, so therefore
He
he must
sounds
be evil.
evil. He does. He does.
So
But
the
did you
last
show
one I
that
had,
Americans distrust people speaking with British accents?
the last time we had one of these, it dropped it. This one is not dropping it. So I let it go there, and it's still there. Maybe I can pick it up from there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I did it.
Yay!
Good job. Good job, Kronos. Let's do this. There's another one. Okay. So this one then needs to be over here so that they can pick it up for me. And that should be all the way up there. Perfect. So yeah, I think that covers our concern on the other issue sufficiently that, you know, we know enough and could talk about it at length, and we don't want to. But it is such a big issue, and we're really, really glad that it's getting the publicity, even though it's in a bad way.
Yeah, about it because it's super crucial that it gets talked about. But yeah,
It's also one of the reasons why I really want to have Des on with
Okay,
me,
what
because
are their
she
chances
has
of
such
survival
great
here?
insights, and
Oxygen.
I need
the
a
food
voice like
stores, Waste
hers.
management.
Because if
Everything
I'm
seems
out
to
here
be in
talking by
order.
myself, I can say a lot of important
It was a
and
small problem
interesting
with the
stuff,
food stores, but the
but
crew fixed
I need
that
her
up.
perspective. I can't do
We
this.
successfully transitioned over to a sustainable, small, artificial ecosystem a year ago, growing fruit and vegetables.
but
It helps
Why,
boost
though?
morale, amongst other things. the
I
crew
hope to
members
boost
could
morale.
hypothetically survive here.
Well, that's
Are
probably
they
true.
For their
children
whole
or
life.
astronauts?
Even astronauts, adult astronauts, need morale. Come on, not everyone is an INTJ.
Sorry, that one rolled in slow. I was like, what? Oh, okay, yeah, nope, I got it.
Yay, someone gets my jokes. That's another reason why I need Des here. She actually gets some of my jokes.
Just so you know, I baffled that test because I am pretty much right down the middle of I versus E. So I can take it 20 times and have it change back and forth, back and forth.
Are you willing to talk about your experience taking the test for the FBI?
Oh.
That
was
is a
for
great
the
story.
Army, but
Was
yeah.
it the Army? I thought it was the FBI.
Yeah.
But no, okay,
it
that's
was
still a
it
great
was
story.
The Army. It was the Army and the Navy. I also took a test for the FBI at the same time. I took all these psychological evaluations for placement in the Army, the Navy, and the FBI. And the two funny ones are the Army and the Navy. Which is, I took the Army one first. And
Thank you, Mexis. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope to see you next time. I understand, but take care. Sorry, Des, go ahead.
Nope. And basically the guy comes back and he's like, this is actually really good, you know, your top 3 placements and in terms of things you can volunteer for or apply to. So this isn't just like I'm gonna join the Army and they're gonna tell me what to do, but like if you want to try and do more specific career paths. And they were, Ranger was one of them. Some kind of, they were all special forces or intelligence. And I was
Of
like,
course.
yeah, I don't want to do any of that.
This
I don't
all
wanna do
sounds
none of
horrible.
that.
Why are you
This
guys?
all sounds awful.
Right.
I wanted some kind of like desk job, whatever. Yeah.
My position is
gonna-
bad on this.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll talk to you guys later. So I went to Navy next, and I went through a similar process with them. And the guy comes back, and he's like, oh no, this is really good, like, you know, you've got intelligence officer, you've got SEAL,
It's not
you've
powered.
got some other thing. Again, all intelligence and special forces. And I'm like,
Okay,
I
it's still
don't
not powered. What the
understand,
hell?
you know, what's happening here. Because I don't really want to do these kind of jobs. But it's worrying that this is where you all seem to think I should be. And he's like, well, it has to do with how you answer some of the questions about making life or death decisions and things like that. And I was like, well, what about that? He's like, well, you were willing to make tough choices when not observed. You know, so like there's a certain kind of like moral flexibility and disregard for human life that certain jobs benefit from. And I was like, all right, I gotta go. I can't. I was like, I can't do this. I can't become even more evil than I already am.
For the benefit of the Army and the Navy. Come on, guys.
Like, and I mean, yes, thinking back on how I answered some of the questions, they were more pragmatic than merciful, I guess.
Pragmatism is the
No,
thing.
and
They want the job done, and sometimes, especially in the Army and the Navy, that costs lives. Right? That's why they do it.
There are certain types of positions in the armed forces where the ability to see, we have to let this one person die because it's the only way to save these other 50 dudes. You know, we're not killing this one person. I mean, he's gonna die from some kind of circumstance that's unfortunate. But if we try to save him, you know, there's all these other problems that we encounter. I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. Now, the FBI, the reason I didn't go with them was because they wanted me to move to Montana to do surveillance on militias.
Oh, of course, Montana.
And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds great. I can't
Why
wait
is
to do
this thing
that.
turning on? I think I'm doing this right.
So,
What am I doing wrong here? This thing is a magnet. It's not picking this thing up. It must not be close enough. Or powered on, but it seems to be powered on. Hey, Jam. Thank you for joining us. It is got to be super late your time. What are you doing? Are you still UHHing? I think you've got yours. Your opponent does not seem to have the willpower to go after that list. Meanwhile, yo, 20. Yeah, you actually think you're going to get 20? That would be amazing. I would love to see that. For those who don't know, Jam Pound is one of the 8 remaining contestants in the 3rd UHH contest being run over at trueachievements.com right now. Top 8 is really tough. What the UHH is that 20 achievements that are matched for the 2 contestants that are head-to-head, hence the ultimate head-to-head UHH, are picked, and Jam got seriously 4.0 or seriously 3.0 as one of his 20, and he got it. He went through, he was close enough, he did the things he needed to do to finish it off, and he got seriously. And his opponent just is not likely to do it. She's not far enough along. So he's going to take the contest, but he wants to get all 20 because he's a beast at getting these achievements. Anyone see how I'm supposed to do this?
looking at the walkthrough.
That's cheat.
Are you in A7?
Possibly? Well,
Yeah, I think
where
you
am?
are. Looks like you are.
Nice. Can I see where I am? I can restart area, restart chapter. Top 200 is tough. Top 8 is inhuman, Ypod says. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty accurate. I finished my run in like 300th place. Now come the memes.
Seriously, 4.0 is enough to make your opponent #mentally defeated. Yeah, true.
Mentally defeated is from, was it UHH 1 even? One of the opponents was dominating his matchups, and so just getting him as your opponent, you just gave up basically, even without even trying. The mentally defeated aspect, and that was the hashtag that took off right then. Was that Cacao? I don't actually know how to pronounce his gamer tag. I don't think it was Chin Doctor. I think it was Cacao. Chin Doctor has been doing really well this one. He's one of the other in the top 8. He made top 8 the first time around and top 8 this one, and he's going to win his, so he's going to make it to the final 4. Jam's probably going to make final 4, and based on the math that we're running, that means that Jam and Chin will not match each other up. They'll get the other 2 people, and maybe they see each other in the finals. I would love to see that. That would be a great finals. All right, go ahead, Des, because I'm getting frustrated, and this is getting bored for people to watch now. What am I supposed to do?
Take the container and move
Yep.
it farthest to the right side of the level,
Okay.
and then pick up a green beam.
Green beam. Oh,
Maybe
this
that
must be.
thing on the floor.
There's a green in here. Maybe I missed it. Nope. 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 I don't see a green beam. It's the Super Bowl of gaming. I don't see a
Weird.
green
I
beam.
don't see a green beam. Unless they mean that kind of aqua beam. That thing on the floor.
No, these are just lightings, and that shows you where the
So you
power
can't
is.
move those little cables.
The power, the
Okay.
cables, no, the cables show you where the power goes and comes. They are not movable. This turns off the thing, so I can't move it anymore. Actually, no, I can.
Well, this walkthrough obviously sucks.
Go to the one on TA. It's pretty good.
Okay,
Powering it on there didn't do it.
True achievements.
And this one moves the bridge back and forth. So if there is something in there and I just missed it, that's obvious. That's great. I can solve the puzzle. I just wish I'd seen it. But I think I've, manipulated all the things I'm allowed to manipulate. I just can't figure out why this thing isn't turning on. Because if I can turn this on, then I can swing the bridge underneath it, and I can use the bridge to catch it, and I can carry it over, and I'll have my third piece, and I can zap it from the angles, and I'm good to go. I just can't figure out why this thing's not getting picked up. And that's frustrating.
Okay, dokes. Alright, so it says, in front of you is the control panel for the magnet.
Okay.
Move the magnet left to pick up the power box, then right
Yep.
to take it to the door. Steal the green energy from the magnet's socket, which will drop the power box.
The magnet is blue, so you're on the wrong level. That must be later.
Okay, so
earlier.
you're...
This is not A7 then. Let me see. Chapter or area. I don't want to... Let's restart the area. No? Nope. Okay. You keep looking. I'm going to figure out what's going on.
Does this make more sense? Steal the energy from the door socket and place it in the socket on the far right down the corridor. Take the power box from the left socket. No. Have you been in the planetarium?
Yeah, I think so, because that was the...
Okay.
In chapter... That was A. We are in Sector B something.
Okay, Sector
Looks
B.
like...
If the guide author was colorblind, we're all doomed. I know, it's true. Like, move the green thing. It's like, everything is blue!
See, there isn't... I just don't remember what I was doing last. I don't remember which of these I've done.
Okay, I figured out where you are.
Oh, good. Where
I'm
am
ready.
I? Okay, but
I think
which
you're
one am I?
B13.
B13. Cool. Let's go.
Alright. Steal the energy from beside the door and use it to power the walkway. Cross the walkway. Go through the doorway and steal the energy from the walkway socket to restore to the door socket. Go through the door.
So this door... That door won't open. It needs 3, so I gotta do this door? Is it... Maybe it's a multi-room puzzle?
I think it's a
Oh.
multi-room puzzle. Nope, stick it back. I
Yep,
think
okay.
we're...
So this one I need to power the walkway. Agreed. Then
Yeah.
across the walkway, I steal this thing to power the door.
Right.
But that door doesn't actually open on 1, does it?
It needs 3?
Yeah, it needs 3. Which is why I need this thing to come up. But I can pull this one from a distance. So I can do that one. So this one comes out, but if I pull this one out, then that door closes.
Okay.
So that's no good. Is there another power
Alright, so
source in here?
Forget
I can
that.
get? Okay.
Go down the ladder, pick up the power box, place it under the
Okay.
magnet,
Okay.
go up the ladder.
That would, yeah, where's the magnet? There it is. Okay. It is directly under the magnet. Go up the
Okay,
ladder.
so go turn on the magnet.
Okay. I believe the magnet is currently on, but I will go turn it back on again. Oh, we need the bridge again. Okay. For some reason I do not have the powered magnet, so we'll do this. Do that. That powers the magnet. Now I use this. And it doesn't pick it up. See, this is what I'm saying. Why isn't it picking it up? If I knew that...
Why isn't
so
it picking it up?
I'm going to restart the area, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I just glitched something somehow. These loading screens are surprisingly long.
They're pretty long. I was thinking that earlier. So while we're waiting for this loading screen, we were thinking about doing Saturday morning RPG at 8 a.m. Eastern USA time. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay,
And I had
what are their chances of survival here? Oxygen, the food stores, waste management.
Okay, so
Everything seems to be in order.
this is
There was
the
a small
room.
problem
Okay,
with the food stores, but the
so
crew
this is the
fixed
thing
that up.
that says do that for. So
We
I've got this.
successfully
Yeah.
That's
transitioned
fine.
over to a sustainable,
So it is a
small
two-room puzzle.
artificial ecosystem a
Yep.
year ago, growing fruit and vegetables.
And I did this part already. This
It
was
helps
easy.
boost morale, amongst other things. The crew members could hypothetically
So anyway, in my
survive
bio
for their whole
over on
life.
TA, I figured out the times for that. So this needs to go over
Okay, so now you go down the ladder.
right and put it directly
And you
underneath the
pick
magnet.
up the power box.
Put it underneath the magnet.
Put it under the magnet on the ceiling.
Oh, on the
Well,
ceiling.
I think it's
That's
bounced off your head.
right. So that's what I wasn't doing. I wasn't holding it up. Last time I just put it down and I expected it to do the work. So maybe I have to hold it up.
No.
Is it not turned on? Maybe that's my problem.
Yeah, maybe if you turn it on and then throw it at it.
Yeah, so Ripley, that's actually one of the reasons why we want to do it. You know, Des and I, we're children of the 80s. We're super excited about that, and the timing should mean that it's a little more convenient for some of our UK viewers like yourself to join us, because it's going to be noon or 1 o'clock your time. So it looks like it's saying it's good to go. Just bonk right on my head. Bonk right on my head. Do I have other buttons? I do not. Bonk right on my head. I swear I'm doing something wrong.
It
Well,
says
this is
pick
exact-
up the power box in the green glowing room.
Right, it was over here
Place
originally.
it
So
under the magnet,
uh-huh.
and then go back up the ladder.
Okay.
Use the controls to move the walkway around. Cross it, go through the doorway.
Mhm.
Feel the energy from the socket inside.
Mm-hmm.
Restore the energy to the magnet. There's a socket on the back. Oh, so the magnet itself has... There you go.
Oh my gosh.
That was annoying.
How long was I going to do that before I figured that out?
At 5 a.m.
Oh.
your time.
I'm sorry. I thought for some reason that you were UK time. Well, Jam
5
can join
a.m.
us.
is pretty early.
Yeah, 5 a.m. is pretty early. You can be asleep. Well, that's totally legitimate. I mean, I think we're probably pretty entertaining, but let's not be. So that's positioning is bad.
Not
So
5
maybe it's
a.m.
better.
entertaining.
Or not 5 a.m. entertaining.
Alright, well now that we've solved, quote, quote, this couple air bunnies.
So I've completely hosed this. It needs to be exactly in one spot. And I didn't do it right, so let's fix this. Because we're not going to be able to move that when we're done. He needs to stay up all night? No, 5 a.m. is too early to stay up all night for. That's my opinion. So that's where it needs to be. This can't go there, and this is needed, so we're fine. Okay. We'll have to figure out some of the time that works better for you. and do something else then. We'll do enough games at enough different times that eventually we'll have something that works for everybody.
Or nobody.
Yeah. Well, what are you playing right now, Jam? I didn't move it. I needed to move it. I can still move it. I can still move it. I can still move it. Should be good. I don't like
There's
that
no time
positioning.
cost I can't fix. That's true.
Yay, we did it.
We did it!
Right. Right. Almost screwed that up. Thankfully it didn't fall
Wow.
down. That would have been awful.
Yay!
Sanitize. Oh, here. Oops. Don't stop. Stop loading so I can look at the thing that I want to look at. Maybe. Did I crash it? Okay, there we go. Sector B14.
My purpose as the overseer of this mission is to work for the ISA. I am the ISA's feet and hands. The distance between Jupiter
How come
and
he
Earth
gets feet?
make it inappropriate
We don't get
for the
feet.
ISA to directly interface
That's an excellent
with the
point.
mission directives. As my AI core is stationed on Europa, I can make decisions instantaneously about the running of the base.
So I need something with weight to hold that down.
Yeah,
So I can get through. But nothing
a
here is
crate?
movable. I need the cube, the heart cube. I need a heart cube.
The companion cube.
I need a companion cube. Thank you.
This is probably a good time for you to mention that you have never finished Portal.
This is true. I have never finished Portal. I have never even played Portal 2, although I watched it being played for an extended period of time at a bachelor party. That should tell you something about the quality of that bachelor party. Thank you, Jam. I appreciate the vote of confidence. I will beat Portal soon enough, and I mean, I'm beating this game. It's kind of the same thing. Right?
Citation needed.
Citation needed. So, can't get through there. Pull this one. Come through here. There's my companion cube.
In addition to not having beaten Portal, you haven't finished a single Valve game, correct?
We went through the list of every Valve game I knew, and I haven't even played any of them except for Portal.
Yeah.
I have never played Team Fortress. I have never played. Oh, that's a problem. That's not going to work.
Any of the Half-Lives.
Any of the Half-Lives. Half-Life 1? Nope. Half-Life 2? Nope. Half-Life 3? Nope. I don't know if I've played Counter-Strike, actually. That's a good question. I don't know simply because I did play a couple of rounds of certain shooters when I was in college as part of groups. I think we were playing Quake, though, not Counter-Strike.
Whoa.
Well, to be fair, as Des airs Kronos' dirty gaming laundry, I set her up for this. I told her in an email, sort of with
That's
the
right.
intention that this would be something we'd be talking about tonight. She's not doing anything unexpected.
I will even the playing field. And I will say that I have never played Portal. Any of them, not even for 1 second. Not specifically avoiding it, I just never got around to it.
Is Dota actually
I
getting a
have to-
card game?
I
Are you
say
being
no, you're gonna
serious?
make the right decisions here when they can't communicate with us.
Interestingly, I have a twin on Earth. His name is Michael.
Oh, that's terrifying.
The ISA uses my twin to check firmware updates before they upload them to myself. There is a simulation
How
of
can
this
you make
mission
it to
on Earth,
2017
running
with
at
a
all
completely
times to check my
portal-free
expert
experience?
systems.
I will tell you how.
As any modern
You have
artificial
to
intelligence running on a
really
quantum
hate
computer,
Steam.
I do also
Yeah,
have
we
a
do,
large amount of
with a passion.
evolutionary algorithms at my disposal.
Like, just you
However, they were
don't
deemed
want
as
to
too
install
unreliable
it.
for general use.
If you have
in
to
the
install
mission.
it for a game for some reason,
Why is that?
it just makes you
Biological
so angry.
systems produce biological
Um,
results.
I just don't like Steam at all.
Unpredictable solutions. Not suitable for such a mission.
They're better now. They're better now. I'll give them. They seem to have made some attempts, or they're trying to improve. But ugh, no, no. Are you going to bed? All right.
I actually have no idea if I did anything in that room or not. I'm also completely turned around. This is the first room where my first-person perspective has actually messed me up. I don't know where I am anymore. Okay, so this is where I came in. Okay. So YPod confirms that they are in fact making a Defense of the Ancients card game that's going to be called Artifact, launching next year. I can tell you what, I don't have to play it unless it comes out on Xbox. If it's only on PC, I can avoid it. I love card games, but there are limits. There's only so many I can play.
Wow. I didn't think that you thought there were limits to how many
Everything
card games
has
a person can
limits.
play. Everything has limits. Yeah, I totally always mean to play Portal, but the other thing is I don't love physics puzzles. So that's another reason why it's kind of like, I like the idea of Portal, some things about Portal.
Do you think I can open this window? If I open this window,
maybe.
I'll have a straight shot to be able to pull this thing out. Except I don't. Never mind. I can't pull it
It
out.
actually looks more like a texture than it looks like a window.
Right. But is this great? Oh, hey, it does. I can actually do that. So if I do this, that opens it, and now I can shoot that thing in and there, open it that way. But I can't actually do that. I need a doohickey. Where'd my doohickeys go? I figured out the puzzle, kind of. I made progress in the puzzle. I'm so lost on the puzzle. How did I get up there? Have I completely screwed myself?
Only played the Portal games on Xbox. I don't use Steam. Yeah, and I own Portal on Steam actually because I got it for free with Kitty. Ugh.
Hey, kitty.
I got it for. She just knocked something over. I got it for free with Civilization. I think there was a Steam Civilization, buy Civilization via Steam, and you get Portal, some kind of register for Valve deal. And I got it, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll play this maybe, but I just want to play Civilization right now.
Was that
And
Civ
then,
5?
I don't remember. This would have been, I want to say 2008, 2009.
So probably Civ 4 then.
Yeah. I have to look it up now. I guess I could just go to my Steam library. Probably won't though.
How does the ISA know you're gonna make the right decisions here when they can't communicate with us?
Interestingly, I have a twin on Earth. His name is Michael.
You don't have
The
a
ISA
twin,
uses my
Creepster.
twin to check firmware updates before they upload them to myself. There is a simulation of this mission on Earth, running at all times to check my expert systems. Naturally, as any modern artificial intelligence running on a quantum computer, I do also have a large amount of evolutionary algorithms at my disposal. However, they were deemed as too unreliable for general use in the mission.
Why is that?
Biological systems produce biological results. Messy, unpredictable solutions. Not suitable for such a mission.
Now, this must have been Civilization 5. Because 4 came out in 2005, and 5 came out in 2010. So I was probably wrong about 2008, 2009.
You're just
It's
off
probably
the year.
2010. I was off by a year.
Ripley, that is a great game. I'm glad you picked it up. Did you pick it up in this recent sale? I mean, it's only $1. This is the Telltale Poker Night at the Inventory 2. It's on sale on the Xbox 360 Black Friday sale for 99 cents. I don't make a lot of game recommendations. I recommend that one wholeheartedly. It is fantastic. You will get $1's worth of enjoyment out of it, even if you hate poker, even if you hate games, even if you hate Portal. You will find $1's worth of humor there. It's fantastic. Alright, I am going to do this, that.
Do you have any other Black Friday recommendations? Yes, he does. He emailed me, YPod.
No, like I said, I don't usually make these recommendations, so I don't have them.
He emailed me what he
but
was thinking about buying
right,
for himself.
there's the list that I'm interested in buying, but most of these are games that I'm interested in buying because I haven't had a chance to play them yet, so I can't really recommend them, necessarily. That doesn't mean that they're bad.
So I can tell you what's on the list.
Although I do
We
tend to
can
like
talk
bad
about-
games.
Yeah,
if it's
you
on my
like
list,
bad
it might
games.
actually be pretty bad, right?
Okay, so first one was Virginia. Now, we've talked about Virginia before, and I've played Virginia all the way through. It doesn't take very long, actually.
Yeah, it's a 3 to 4 hour completion.
Yeah. It is so hard to describe. You are an FBI agent. You might also be a terrorist. You might also be an alien. You literally have no freaking clue what's happening. I was riveted for I installed it and played it all the way through, didn't stop. Just that was what I did with my day. But if you don't like quote-unquote walking simulators, then there's collectibles, and the collectibles are hard because certain things that you do, like say you walk through a doorway, can trigger this cascading series of events that mean you can't go backwards. So it's like if you missed a collectible behind you, you have to just restart the game. So the collectibles are quite challenging. And I had a lot of fun with them, actually. And then just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Because there's no dialogue.
What Remains of Edith Finch is on sale? Sorry, I didn't see that one on my sale list. That's interesting.
Yeah, my sister really liked Edith Finch. So anyway, Virginia's going to be $4.
Which I'm thinking about picking up for $4 regardless, but it's also one of those that, because Des has played it and because I'm interested in, and it's a short game that's quirky, as a possible title to include with us for streaming in the future, because, hey, why not?
Yeah. And I think it's actually really something that's great to talk to someone about. Because I was talking to this friend of mine while I was playing it, and I was texting, and she was like, this game sounds completely insane, I'm gonna go buy it. And she picked it up, and then she immediately was texting me, like, what the hell? It's very weird. If you let yourself just get into it and just go with it.
And go with the experience, right?
Yeah, you just have to let it wash over you. It's like, Twin Peaks, sort of. anything David Lynch, really, where everything is just weird. And you're like, what's going on? But I like it.
Come on.
Okay, so that's Virginia. $4. I mean, if you think of it in terms of movies, you know,
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get my money's worth out of that, especially since it's got a 1,000
Yeah.
gamer score, right?
yeah. Now, you have Has Been Heroes.
$10.
Mm-hmm. It's rogue action RPG with some strategy. That's how you described it.
Yeah, I mean it's complicated to try to figure out what's going on with that game. You need to watch some gameplay to even have a clue. I think it's tricky. I pop this here. No, I can't go there. Sorry, that can't go there.
And then you have Mages of Mistralia.
Right, so that one was one where it's an indie game and it's normally $20 and it's right up my alley based on everything I'm seeing, and it's only down to $15. But for some reason, the fact that it was on sale even $5 caught my attention. I was like, ooh, I kind of want that.
Right. Well, and that's 25% off. You know, it's not.
Yes,
bad
it's not.
discount.
It's not. If I had $15 that I could spare on games, I'd probably go get that in a heartbeat and probably really like it. Why can't I do that? 10% off, must buy. 10 cents off, must buy. Yeah, well, sometimes even a steep discount doesn't actually make the game worth it. I've bought some games for $1, and then I kind of wish I had my dollar back, right? But these games look like they're probably pretty good, even if they're not amazing. Like, Mages of Mistralia looks like it's probably not amazing, but it looks like it's right in my wheelhouse, so I can't imagine I'm not going to enjoy it. The question is, am I going to enjoy it more than some other game I could buy for $15? And that's tougher.
Okay, and then you have some stuff about Telltale.
Right, so we can...
More Walking Dead. And more Minecraft story mode.
We can talk about Telltale for a minute. Telltale is an industry leader where they made that game that I just recommended very highly, and I like a lot of their games. But they've made a lot of games, and they're basically all the same game over and over again, and they are constantly going on sale, constantly becoming games with gold. So if you don't want to buy it right now, then just wait a few months. It'll be back on sale, or it'll be games with gold in a year or two. Why buy it? Well, because they had just had to lay off 25% of their workforce. And maybe the reason why they had to lay off 25% of their workforce is because they're not selling enough games, and they're not selling enough high-quality games. I mean, Tales from the Borderlands, the one that just won games with gold, is amazing. But they're not all Tales from the Borderland. They're not all Tales from the Borderland. Walking Dead Season 2 is garbage.
I have Tales from the Borderland on PC and on PlayStation. The PlayStation one I got free, and the PC I paid for. And I play the PC one with an Xbox controller, actually. I'm glad I paid for it. I have not paid for any other Telltale game that I own, and I own a lot of them. I've gotten almost all of them for free from PS Plus, and most of them I don't think I would buy. Not just that there's anything wrong with them, but in a lot of ways they're very rinse-repeat. And what I liked about the Tales from the Borderlands one is it did feel different. A little bit like they worked harder on it. I
Ripley and Waika get it
ready
for me.
to install number.
If it's $2 and under, I'll buy it because it's going to be interesting, right? I'm going to get some enjoyment out of it. It can't be that bad. It can actually be that bad, but there's the gamer score hunt. There's a lot of other things going on. I finally solved this freaking puzzle. It wasn't that hard. I was not seeing it for some reason.
That's how I am with the two sales that GOG has. They have that summer sale and the winter sale, where I buy so many games for like $2, and as you're buying them, you're like, I'm really never gonna play this.
That's amazing. I would love to play this. Can I have like 10 hours along with my $2 so I can play this game? Can I just buy time?
Like, exactly. I look at my PC game library, and there's so many good games on there that I missed when they first came out, and I mean to get back to them, and it's like it never happened. That's way worse than my to play on the PlayStation list.
Does this game have
Ever-growing
potential?
backlog, yeah.
Does this game have GTA SC potential? Is it
Did the
preloadable?
ISA build you, Tom?
As the child of the ISA, I have been given authority aboard this station. I was designed by the ISA and the Ashiyama Corporation, designed in California, assembled in China.
The meta is real.
But here on Europa, I constructed myself.
So he's self-replicating. God, do these people mean nothing? You don't
No,
self-replicate.
he's such a creepster. I don't like him at all. Why are we still listening to him? This is where we talked about player choice before. Your only choice here is to reject the game.
Right.
You can't be like, look, creepy AI, you're obviously evil, I'm not doing what you're gonna say.
But then you don't get to
You
experience
can't
the
do
story.
that. Yeah.
You have to
heard
play
of the
dumb
Turing
to play the
Test,
story.
Ava?
You have to be his little
It's a
pawn.
test to see if a computer can successfully impersonate a human. In the original Turing test, a human judge has two conversations, one with a machine and one with another human. They then judge which of these polite conversations is with a machine and which is with a human. The machine being tested is said to have passed the Turing test if the judge cannot reliably tell which conversation is with a machine and which is with a human.
Do you think you'd pass the Turing test?
I am quite capable of polite conversation. Wouldn't you say?
No, you're not. You sound like a serial killer.
But he's a polite serial killer.
I mean,
So
he
this-
still sounds like a serial killer.
Him explaining the Turing test here, that was not good. I can't go back that way now. Am going to be okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Him explaining the Turing test there reminds me of some other Alan Turing terminologies that we have in computer science. Where does this thing go? It goes there. Sweet. Made it. Oh, but now I can't get across. How did I lose that? Okay, I gotta get across first. Alright. You can also say that a computer system is Turing complete, and that is when it is capable of performing all appropriate mathematical operations. That is not that difficult to do, but it's incredibly important, because if you have a non-Turing complete computer system, you can't actually do very much. It can do some pretty impressive things sometimes, but it won't actually be able to run true computations. One of the things that really impressed me about Minecraft was some ingenious people made Turing complete computers, like Babbage's differential equations computers, in Minecraft. These people are nuts. I love them. And a couple of years ago, I was reading an article. It ended up being a clickbait article. It was not as genuine as I hoped it would be. But the clickbait title was, Magic the Gathering is Turing complete. No, I need it the other way.
Okay, I'm looking at the Xbox Black Friday thing. Shop all digital games. This is probably gonna have like a million things on it. Why do it wants me to sign in? Ugh, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, you don't need to sign in. Again, go to TA. They have a great list of all the games that are discounted. I didn't link you on that one, but it's not too hard to find. This needs to go across here, that needs to go across there, and I need
Play
two pieces.
100 games for $1.
So that's the Game Pass. You can get a month subscription of Game Pass for $1, which is pretty cool. I need another piece. The TA list is easier to read. That's a good point. This one is stuck in there. It's permanently on anyway. I need another power source. But here? Is this a power source? That is a power source, but... okay, it's an auto. Always on power source. No good. Beginning of the level.
True achievements. The only way... There's only one place I go on there, for starters.
Well, thank you for reading my blog.
You're welcome. Here we go. I found it. With my Google foo.
Oh, I can bring it in. Cool. I did all that extra work for nothing. Yeah, Charles Babbage is obviously different from the Babbage family that made the Babbage's department store, but it's because it's just a name, right? It's like Woolworths. Do you know Woolworths, or am I dating myself?
Actually, Woolworths still exists.
Well, I mean, so does Macy's, but really...
The
Well,
Turing
Macy's
test has been
exists a lot more than
criticized.
Woolworths does.
Researchers claim it does not correctly test a machine's ability to think, but rather its ability to deceive.
What do you mean?
Well, have you heard of the Chinese room thought experiment?
No.
Imagine you are in a room. In this room, you are passed Chinese sentences through a slot in the wall. Inside the room is an instruction book written in English. This instruction book tells you which Chinese words to pass back through the slot in the wall as a response. By doing so, you have a conversation in Chinese.
I mean, this game is like AI Theory 101 right now. Let's talk about the very basics. I'm a little bored. Puzzles are okay, but the story could do some more. And Ava, you know, she's supposed to be an engineer. She knows this stuff.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh.
We're an astronaut. I mean, why is he talking to us like we're so stupid?
Because obviously we're not an engineer and we are stupid. Yeah, no, Wipeout, I'm straight with you on the Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy. That's also on my list. The fact that they are discounted half price.
In the Chinese
I will tell
room,
you that even though the Jeopardy
because the
looks like the better
responses you
game,
pass back through
the
the
Wheel of
door
Fortune
are the
game is
correct
better than the
responses.
360 Wheel of Fortune game because the
person on the
achievements
other
are
side
not
of the door
luck-based.
is convinced you are a native Chinese speaker.
Well, they're wrong.
Perhaps they are not wrong. Because with the instruction book, you are having a conversation.
But the person stuck in the Chinese room is not aware of the conversation's content.
This is the problem with the Turing test. A computer can pass the Turing test, having convinced a human they are having a polite conversation, while the computer has no idea that a conversation has taken place.
What if both of the people passing Chinese words are reading from instruction books?
Haha, Tom and I see what you did there.
Oh, so, yeah, no, we're both AIs like we thought. Apparently we are more aware of the fact that we're both AIs than Tom is.
Nope, I figured that was a pretty bad chance, but I think I have to do it. I don't like these timing-based puzzles. What am I sticking? My stick says do something. Why is that stick icon there? That's really weird.
Alright, what was I doing? Oh, I was on True Achievements. Okay. I'm just looking to see what I would buy. Oh, so many Assassin's Creeds. All the Assassin's Creeds. I could finally get caught up.
Yeah, you're going to be a couple hundred hours doing it, but...
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while.
Oh, man. I think this is what I have to do. I think it's just timing-based, and the timing is not quite long enough.
Telltale Batman is 70% off. Is that new?
1 or 2, season 1 or 2, because they're in the middle of season 2. Season 1 is about a year and a half old now, so.
Okay. Season 2 appears to be 40% off, and season 1 is 70% off.
Yeah, 70% off for season 1 is probably okay. I was not super impressed with Batman as a Telltale game. I thought it was too simplistic, and they didn't actually do anything with the story. But I was intrigued by what they did with the character design, like how they did things with the villains, and even Batman, slightly different than other versions, was interesting enough. So I didn't dislike it, I just didn't like it.
They have a couple different Battlefield 1 bundles. Not only played the main game, but it's good. It's really good.
Can I shoot it through the wall somehow? Of course I can't. Is there a thing over here? There is not.
All the Bioshocks. You haven't played... Have you played any of them, or just Infinite?
I have not played a single Bioshock.
Ah.
Add it to the Valve.
Add it to the Valve. Well, and I was thinking about games to play, and I thought about Alpha Protocol the other day.
That's a great game. I know
too.
we've had plenty of conversations about that. If it ever goes backwards
Yeah.
compatible and I can play it on the one, we can stream it, I'll make you play it, but until then, you're off the hook.
I'm off the hook, okay. Tons of Call of Duties. Dark Souls 3.
So as soon as I come in here, the stick button lights up, like it's telling me to do something, but there's nothing thing to do. I don't know why. It's gotta be. It's a clue for something.
85% off Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
All right, Ripley. So here's my quick and dirty on Alpha Protocol. I like it a lot. It is not an amazing game, but it is pretty interesting, and my interpretation of it is very different than most people's, I think. This seems to be the case with a lot of games. I think it does a fantastic job of satirizing the shooter genre in general, with its bald space marine, and your protagonist of Michael Thornton is not a direct satire of that, but so good in being that without being that, in a completely different environment. And the gameplay and the characters are a lot of fun. The game itself has some tricky moments. It's a skill test, but the RPG thing softens it most of the time. But for full clear, all achievements, you do have to beat it on hard, and that is tricky. But you can see I'm not very good with first-person shootery thingies, and I did it. I mean, there's this one boss fight that took me probably 30 tries, but I got it, so it's not too hard, and I had a lot of fun with it. It's a fairly long game, though. You're going to be spending 35 to 40 hours at a minimum. You need 2.5 full playthroughs for a full completion. And if you want to do it in the minimum amount of time, I recommend Jeff Xpovos, a.k.a. Dr. Canadian Ninja's walkthrough on Tree Achievements. It is amazing at giving you what you need to get the achievements, and at the same time, enjoy your playthroughs. Alright. I am just about ready to give up here.
I was just say, did you give up? Did you give up yet?
It charges instantaneously. Oh, I'm so close! I swear, if this actually has to be done timing-wise, I'm gonna be a little upset. Because... Ugh, nope. Because I'm not getting it unless I jump, and the jump is so stupid. So, yeah. Or, you know, Ripley, if we do eventually get to the point where Alpha Protocol is backwards compatible, or somehow we get to the point where I can get Des to play it, and we go through it together. Just join us for the stream. It'll be almost like playing it yourself, except you don't get achievements.
Yeah, but apparently you get to make choices. So hopefully we can make all the worst choices.
Oh, don't worry. There are no good choices.
I mean, I'm scrolling through and seeing some good discounts, but things like Final Fantasy 60% off for the premium edition, right?
Right.
Like, that's the kind of thing
That's
I just
not-
wait until they're totally
Yeah, it's still not good
done,
enough. It's not good enough yet.
you know, and it's all on one disc together.
Come on.
Ripley's talking about the wham 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 sound effect. There was another puzzle where the noise it made right after Tom had like Ponsely expounded on something, it sounded like wow. I was like, yeah, that's my feeling.
Yes, the game and I are both making all kinds of frustrated noises right now. Not a chance. Not making it. Not even close. Alright, Des, let's have a look. What am I doing wrong? Sector B19. Is this timing based?
Sector B19. It's probably
Because if it's timing based, I might be done for the night.
Alright, B19. I'm almost there. I closed that tab, sadly.
Whoops. I can probably go get it faster.
No, I got it. Sorry, Tiny Cat was clawing my leg. It, distracted me because of her angry claws.
Sprint. Oh, I gotta press L. You can. There's a sprint button. I didn't know there was a sprint button.
Yeah. And you have to jump a little at the end.
Well, knowing there's a sprint button.
Wah,
Yeah.
wah.
That's a thing that should have been explained to me. That's probably why the sticker's showing down, saying you need to sprint. That's the
Yeah,
tutorial.
now
That's why I was there.
That mystery
Now it
is
all makes sense.
explained.
Yes.
Are you one of these gamers that needs their hand held?
Sometimes.
Remember back when games used to be hard? So, we were talking about the good old days. What were we talking
I may be a machine, but I personally do not believe I am stuck inside.
It was a
the
couple weeks
Chinese
ago,
room.
so
Right, you would say that.
I don't
could
know.
peer inside your databases at any time, Tom. Or pause your operation.
Do not assume I could not do the same to you.
Ooh.
No, it was Dark Souls. That's what it was. Thank you, iPod.
Oh, yeah. Well, and recently we were talking about quality
Oh,
assurance.
sorry, that was Jam. I don't know why I read iPod as Jam or Jam as iPod there. That's you guys look nothing alike.
They're the same color. Maybe that's why.
And it
the
kinda ends in
words
D.
are- Yeah. Yeah, because we were talking about quality assurance and patching games. How long do you reasonably get to expect patches and things like that?
Mhm.
And one of the things that came up was
Based on the
Yeah.
Marvel Heroes of Mega thing being done in 6 months, as we were starting to talk about, as even Ripley mentioned.
that, and we talked about Friday the 13th, which was, it has a game-breaking bug now, and the developer's like, who cares?
I think I might have overstated that. Who cares? They're at the point where they are just not interested in fixing that first. It's not on the top of the list because it affects 0.1% of their player base. They probably will fix it
Right.
eventually,
So
but
there's other problems.
right, no, that game had so many problems. So the fact that this came up as a bug is not too surprising. How am I supposed to... There's only one power source. How am I supposed to open up two things with one power source? Two grates, one power source. Because then the beam will fit in there and it'll open up my door. Can I... Oh, I steal one early. That's how. I'm going to need this later. So this can't be there. Boom.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. It's longer than 6 months, though.
Yeah, 6 months is a problem. And so a lot of people are asking for refunds for this because 6 months is not enough. And in some cases, they're getting them.
2 grades, 1 power source for your quotes list. I was like, that sounds like something from the weird part of YouTube.
Yep, so we did actually set up quotes before we went live tonight, so we have our first quote. Des,
right.
fire it up.
I'm gonna do it. I have to read the tutorial.
I told you, I gave you the tutorial before we started.
Yeah, I
Don't
wasn't
Google
listening
that.
to you.
This is the crew's quarters. It looks abandoned.
Anyway, that's probably where we're going to stop here, getting to the cruise quarter. We've been going for a while. You get a good feel for what the game's about. I want to bring in one more game that this sort of reminds me of. It was another Games with Gold that we had last year about this time, or maybe even 2 years, because, man, time's running by. And that was Numa, Breath of Life. Whoa, Ripley, are you actually serious, or are you just trolling me because I don't know? I'm super gullible.
No, I don't think it's already a meme. 2 grades, 1 power source.
Right, 2 grades, 1 power source. I was referencing 2 girls, 1 cup. Do you know 2 girls, 1 cup?
Yes.
If you do, okay, fine, we're good. If you don't Google that. Okay, we're good. Numa Breath of Life is another first-person shooter puzzle game just like this. Not quite as many Portal aspects. Thank you, Jam Pound. But a lot of the same questions about the concept of life, what makes up life. I really enjoyed Numa. I have to say I've actually probably enjoyed Numa more than what I've played of Turing Test so far. Not to say this has been bad. This is pretty good. But I thought Numa did it better. The other game I played at the same time was Thomas Was Alive. Alone. Thomas Was Alone.
Thomas Was Alive. Alone, yeah.
And Thomas Was Alone and Numa were a really excellent bookend for me of indie games that were thinking about the meaning of broader stuff and exploring it through gameplay. And playing those together was really good for me, but I don't think either one of them independently would have been as good as the two of them combined. So I can throw this one in there as well. If you do all 3 at once, you're probably going to be like, man, I'm just tired of this style of game. Give me something better, something different. But 1 or 2 together, you probably have a real good time. All right, I think we're going to sign off here. There we go. Thank you, Des.
Sorry, I had to Google 2 girls, 1 cup to get the appropriate way to do the title. I wanted to match it as closely as possible.
Wow.
That's-
But you also...
I didn't click anything.
You have to...
But that,
Good. You also still messed it up. It's there's no space between the exclamation point and the quote, and then you don't need brackets.
curses.
Also, Cronus
The
should probably be
brackets were
capitalized.
in the tutorial.
Oh, well, I think it's just as a thing, but...
Oh, so wait a second.
So I don't think that one works, so that's
Quote.
cool.
Oh, I forgot something. Just spaces instead of brackets. Those jerks.
Ripley, I
This
don't
is a
know if you
poor
can
tutorial.
do it, because I don't think you're a mod, but... I don't even know if you have to be a
That's
mod
okay.
or not, but...
I'm on a tablet, so this is,
Yeah.
it's not.
Anyway,
it's
thank you
not
guys
great.
all for joining us tonight for our playthrough of the first 2 chapters or so of the Turing Test. I I missed out on an achievement I saw that was a semi-missable. I got to go back and do a small segment. Probably one of those halls I turned down, and then I think it's that hallway where I fell, and then just sort of turned around, and that was in the next puzzle. The quote system is it'll store quotes, and if you command, anyone can command, ! Quote, it'll pull a random quote from the quotes list. So all of our great moments of stupidity and off-the-wall humor can be recorded for the future. So, Ripley says that unless you remember revisit fun and embarrassing things from previous streams, Prev. I misread Prev as Perv, and I was like, well, that's pretty perfect for 2 greats, 1 power source. Boom! There you go.
Alright. Did I do it? I submitted it and nothing came up, so I'm guessing it worked. Let's see if
Did you? If you just
I don't know.
spam it randomly.
I'm
Anyway,
just
I'll take care of it
randomly
later on.
typing
So.
some shit in here. Apparently
No, that's not how.
Apparently it did
I'll
not work.
I'll take care of it later on. So you gave me the format. I'll take care of it. But once again, thank you everyone for coming in and joining us and spending some of your time with us. I appreciate it. Hopefully we had an entertaining time for you, and come on back for us. I don't yet know what we're going to do next week, but Saturday morning we know what we're doing. Saturday morning, 8 a.m., Des and I will be starting up Saturday Morning RPG.
Yeah!
And if you can join us, it would be great to have you. If not, we'll catch you next time.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody. Where? Why won't it turn off?